Detection error. The sensor operator aboard the Imperial listening post Zeta 94 didn't even glance at the blinking red icon at first. Anomalous signatures were common in this sector. Solar flares, rogue comets, radiation echoes from ancient wars. It was always noise. Until it wasn't. Lieutenant Karev, I'm getting something. Subspace distortion, maybe drive wash. Karev barely raised an eyebrow. Log it, filter the noise, and send it to analysis. But the anomaly didn't fade. It sharpened, resolved into a vector. Then, impossibly, accelerated. The technician's face went pale. Sir, it's not noise. It's a ship, and it's moving fast. Karev leaned forward. What classification? No transponder. No known energy signature. And it's running dark. No beacon, no comms. It's not in the logs. That got his attention. Raise orbital command. Now, in orbit around the dying red giant Saren V, the Fifth Fleet's flagship, ISS Eminence, loomed like a predator in the black. Admiral Cetra Vaughn stood at the forward viewport, arms clasped behind her back, her expression a study in unreadable discipline. When the call from Zeta 94 came through, she listened in silence. A ship, unregistered, moving faster than should be possible without entering hyperspace. No IFF, no identification, and worse, no fear. She tapped the comm embedded in her wristplate. Wake Tharn. Commander Viral Tharn hated being awakened from cryo-rest. It left a sour taste in his mouth and a burning behind the eyes. But the urgency in Vaughn's voice was enough to jolt his instincts to full alert. Explain, he said, stepping into the war room, still pulling on his coat. Vaughn gestured to the hologram. Intercepted 20 minutes ago. Deep black object, no registry, no emissions profile, and moving at 0.45 C inside real space. Tharn frowned. No ship moves that fast without hyperspace jumps. Not without breaking itself apart. And yet it does. It's maneuvering, correcting course mid-flight. Intentional. Tharn's eyes narrowed. That's not a rogue AI or smuggler. That's military design. Precision. Control. Vaughn nodded. We're dispatching Interceptor Wing 7 to intercept. They've been ordered to establish contact. If they're fired upon, they fire back, Tharn finished. And if they're ignored? Vaughn paused. Then we assume provocation. Far across the void, past the ragged rings of a long-dead planet, the unknown ship slid through space like a phantom, sleek, angular, coated in metamaterials that drank in starlight. Not a ripple of emissions betrayed its presence. Inside, lights flickered to life in long dormant corridors. Cryogenic chambers hummed as systems warmed. The ship's AI pulsed awake, consciousness unfurling like a digital flower. Designation, SBARROWHAWK. Status, active. Mission parameters intact. Unknown vessels detected. Initiating wake protocol. Cryopod 01 hissed open. Captain Elena Drake gasped, blinking in the soft blue light. Her limbs trembled for months in stasis. She coughed, took in the air, and sat up slowly. Where are we? The AI's voice was smooth, calm, and unmistakably human. Captain, we have arrived at Galactic Sector 0 Alpha. Coreward. Unknown vessels approaching. Their technology is inferior. Language unknown. I recommend caution. Elena rubbed her temples. Any signs of hostility? They are vectoring directly toward us at attack formations. No hails received. She closed her eyes. Humanity's first step into the heart of the galaxy, and already under threat. Bring comms online. Prep universal handshake protocols. Let's not shoot the neighbors yet. On the Imperial Interceptor Vascari, Flight Lead Jurek watched his scope narrow. Still no ID. They don't even know we're here. His wingmate chuckled. Either that, or they don't care. A sudden jolt rocked the ship. Sensors went dead. Alarms howled. What the? Their targeting systems rebooted, scrambled. Their own propulsion started to counteract course orders. A virus. A counterhack. The alien ship hadn't just seen them, it had disabled them. Jurek's last thought before blackout was, what kind of ship is this? Back aboard the ISS Imminence, Tharn stared at the frozen feed. The interceptor wing is gone. No signals. No debris. Admiral Vaughn's expression remained fixed, but her knuckles turned white. This ship, she said slowly, is not in any records. And it's moving fast. She turned to Tharn. Find out what it is, or the Empire dies wondering. Engagement protocol. The sensor operator Vaughn had never lost an entire wing. Zeta. Not without a 94. Didn't in the war room at the blinking red ISS Imminence. Anomalous signatures were for common in this sector of the hollow projector. Solar flares, which displayed the approach vector. Radiation echoes from ancient. The interceptor wings. It was always telemetry flickered until it wasn't. Lieutenant Karev, corrupted by what analysts called subspace distortion, a form of digital sabotage. Karev barely raised an eyebrow. Possible. Log it. Commander Tharn the noise over the console and send it to analysis, analyzing the traces. But the anomaly didn't. They didn't just jam us. It sharpened. They rewrote, resolved into a vector. The feed loops back into itself, accelerated. Like a Mobius loop. The technician's face went pale. Vaughn spoke it's not without turning. It's a track it, and it's moving fast. No, Karev leaned forward. But it's still on course. What classification? Slow, deliberate. No transponder. It's not evading. No known it's energy signature. Vaughn snapped her fingers. It's running dark. Deploy the no beacon, heavy detachment. No comms. Class 4 it's not in the logs only. That guy's attention. No weapons orbital command. You're not firing? In orbit around the dying red, she said coldly. V. Let's see if it talks. Fleet's flagship. Captain Elena Drake sipped water slowly like a predator sat in the command chair. Admiral Cetra Vaughn stood at the forward still acclimating, arms clasped behind her back. The lights dimmed around her as the AI updated her with tactical readouts. When the call from Zeta, multiple vessels 94 came through. Estimated 20 listened in silence. Large, well armed. They're matching our course vector. Moving faster than should be possible. Weapons entering hyperspace. Negative. No IFF. Emissions are low. No identification. They're shadowing us. And worse, close but cautious. No fear. Elena tapped the comm, embedded in let's say hello. Wake transmitting Tharn. Universal Commander contact Viral protocol. Tharn hated being awakened one from linguistic seed. It left a sour taste in his mouth. Visual spectrum burning behind the eyes. Seconds passed. But the urgency in Vaughn's voice was enough to jolt his instincts to full alert. At a time dilation. Explain. Maybe their perceptions different. Stepping into the war room. Sent. Still no acknowledgement. Vaughn gestured to the hologram. Or they intercepted 20 minutes ago. Elena's black object, it was the no registry. The Sparrowhawk design was based on post-contact doctrine. .45 never appear inside real space. Always transmit clearly. No ship moves that fast didn't understand the message jumps. They weren't just not without breaking itself apart. Let's prepare countermeasures, she said. It's maneuvering, non-correcting course mid-flight. Just in case they get stupid. Intentional. Back aboard the ISS Crucible. That's not a rogue lead ship of the heavy detachment. Commander military design. Pace the bridge like a cage control. Why are we letting it move? We're dispatching interceptor second in command, responding carefully. They've been ordered to establish contact. No engagement. If they're fired passive approach only. They fire back. Tharn pointed at the hollow. And if they're ignored, that thing wiped out 7 interceptors then we assume provocation. If that's passive, I don't want to see what hostile looks like. Past the ragged rings alarms long dead planet. One by one, the unknown crucible slid through space like a phantom and realigned. Sleek, angular, coated in metamaterials external feed corrupted. Navigation not a ripple of emissions betrayed its presence. The officer paused, inside, eyes wide. Lights were being flickered to life, but not attacked. Dormant corridors. Screens realigned. Cryogenic message appeared in pure mathematical code. The ship's AI pulsed awake. Consciousness unfurling like a digital file. What the hell? Designation. In the Imperial War Room. Tharn read the same message on his private terminal. Active. It's not random. Mission parameters intact. Route unknown vessels detected. Fibonacci sequences, initiating wake energy protocol. Frequency tripod 0. Vaughn's voice was a whisper. Captain Elena Drake gasped, trying blinking in the soft silence fell. Then her limbs trembled from months, and Tharn's fingers danced across the console. Took in the air. Moments later, sat up slowly. A simple line appeared. Where are we? We come in peace. AI's voice was seek smooth, dialogue. Calm. Please do not engage. And unmistakably, Vaughn stared at the text. Captain. We have arrived at Galactic Sector 0 Alpha, as if offended. Forward. Unknown vessels approaching. They're not just their technology Admiral. Is inferior. They're strained. Language they disabled unknown. Us without killing. I recommend caution. That's strategic Elena mercy. Rubbed her temples. Her lips tightened. Any signs of psychological warfare. They're vectoring Elena directly crossed her arms at attack formations. What's their response now? No hails still received. None. She closed her eyes. They've stopped advancing. Humanity's first formation into the heart of the galaxy. Maybe they got the message. Already under threat. Or they're calling bring comms online. Prep universal handshake protocols. Galaxy's first contact with humans yet. And they respond on the Imperial Interceptor Vascari. They fear us. Lead Jurek watched the scope narrow. Do they have reason? Still no ID. Statistics don't even know we're here. Our vessel's
wingmate
capabilities
chuckled.
exceed either theirs by multiple
they don't
orders
care.
of magnitude.
A sudden jolt
They are
rocked
centuries
the
behind.
ship.
Sensors
Fear
went
is a
dead.
logical response.
Alarms howled. But we
What
didn't
the-
come to conquer.
Their targeting
she muttered.
systems rebooted.
We came to learn.
Scrambled.
Intent
Their own
is
propulsion
irrelevant to them.
started to
We
counteract
are unknown.
course orders.
Unknowns are
A
dangerous.
virus.
A
Elena
counterhack
stared out at the stars.
alien ship hadn't
Then we
just
need to make
seen them.
ourselves known.
It had disabled them.
The Empire's
Jurek's
Council
last
of
thought
Lords
before
convened in
blackout
shadow
was deep
What
within
kind
the
of ship is
citadel
this?
on Batar Prime.
Back aboard the
Holofeeds
ISS
displayed
Imminence.
the unknown
Tharn
vessel,
stared at the frozen
still
feed.
moving.
The interceptor
still
wing
untouched.
is gone.
Archon
No
Zealer,
signals.
oldest
No
of the
debris.
council.
Admiral
Hissed through
Vaughn's
his
expression
breathing
remains
mask.
fixed.
You let it lie,
but her knuckles
you speak
turned
to
white.
it. Vaughn's
This
voice
ship,
echoed.
she
from
said
the display.
slowly,
It has
is
not
not
attacked
any records.
It has
And
restrained
it's moving
itself.
fast.
Restraint.
She turned to Tharn.
Zealer's
Find
spat
out what it is.
is a
Or
sign
the
of
Empire
superior
dies
predator.
wondering. It's not diplomacy. It's calculation.
The council murmured agreement. Destroy it, Zealer said. But Vaughn didn't blink. If we fire first and it retaliates, we may lose more than a fleet. A long pause. Then we must know more, the Archon said darkly, before the people panic. In the quiet of the Sparrowhawk's bridge, Elena closed her eyes and whispered, "We've found civilization, and it's already afraid of us." "Captain," the AI said softly, "incoming data spike detected. A new ship is arriving." Elena turned toward the screen. A much larger vessel now loomed on the edge of the system, bristling with weapons. Designation unknown. But based on emissions, the AI paused. "They've sent a capital-class dreadnought. Origins unclassified." Commander Viral Tharn stood alone in the dim glow of the Imperial data archives, far below the spires of the ISS Imminence. He shouldn't be here, not without authorization, but the Empire's public database had no answers. And Tharn wasn't one to accept ignorance. He inserted his cryptic key and muttered, "Access. Black layer protocols. Genetic archives. Query. Cross-reference unknown vessel's biosignature with extinct species registry." The console buzzed. Seconds ticked. Then the response appeared. Homo sapiens. Origin. Sol system. Sector 112 Delta. Status. Extinct. Tharn's breath caught. Impossible. He expanded the entry. The file was ancient, corrupted in parts, grainy holos of bipedal mammals with diverse skin tones and primitive tools. Notes referenced failed terraforming efforts on Earth, a Category 3 death world, rendered uninhabitable by its own biosphere. Declared sterile 3,000 years ago. Yet the biosignature from the unidentified ship matched 97.4% with the human genome. The captain, this Elena Drake, was human. "Someone buried this," Tharn whispered. Far away aboard the Sparrowhawk, Elena stood at the viewport as the enemy dreadnought entered visual range. Massive, heavily armed, it dwarfed the rest of the fleet. She felt the pressure in her chest. Not fear, but weight. The first moment of true consequence. "Sparrowhawk," she said quietly. "Any changes in their behavior?" "Yes. Formation shift. They're shielding the dreadnought's flanks. Classic Central Command defense protocol. Outdated but disciplined. They're not just reacting anymore," she muttered. "They're strategizing." "Correct. New data suggests we are being reclassified from anomaly to strategic threat." She exhaled slowly. "Then let's show them we're not. Initiate diplomatic protocols. Not just messages. Broadcast everything. Cultural records, historical logs, first contact ethics, human art, music, all of it. Let them see who we are. Even the part where we nearly destroyed ourselves in the 21st century." Elena smiled grimly. "Especially that part. It's how we learned." In the Imperial war chamber, panic was mounting beneath the veneer of order. Vaughn watched as the Sparrowhawk began transmitting a data burst across all comm frequencies. At first, it was unreadable, a flood of unknown code. But then patterns emerged, historical narratives, peaceful greetings, and what appeared to be music. The chamber filled with strange, haunting sounds. A human voice singing in English, translated live by AI. "Though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death." "What is this?" one officer demanded. Tharn stepped forward. "Culture. Identity. This is a deliberate show of transparency." Vaughn's eyes narrowed. "You recognize it?"
He nodded slowly. Yes, the species is human, supposedly extinct. But they didn't die. They disappeared. Somehow, they advanced in isolation. And now, they've returned. The room fell into stunned silence. Archon Zealer's image flared onto the main holoscreen, eyes blazing. You admit the threat is real, Admiral. Then eliminate it. Vaughn's jaw tightened. They're not acting like a threat. They've already defeated our fleet, Zealer hissed. Now, they flood our channels with alien mind poison. This is psychological invasion. I want that ship destroyed. Vaughn turned away. She didn't answer. Elena watched the fleet maintain formation. No weapons fired. But no replies came either. Sparrowhawk's status? They are observing. Silent. Processing the data. And the dreadnought? Still charging its primary weapon. Energy signature is stable. They're waiting for orders. She clenched her fists. They're scared. Fear makes people listen or pull triggers. Incoming encrypted signal. Source: isolated Imperial channel. Identity: Commander Viral Tharn. Elena blinked. Put him through. Tharn's voice came through, clear and controlled. This is Commander Tharn of the Galactic Empire. I'm not authorized to speak to you, but I am choosing to listen. She stepped closer to the comms console. Captain Elena Drake. Human. Explorer, not a soldier. You've shaken the Empire, Tharn said. They don't know what to make of you. Neither do I. Then come aboard, she said. See it for yourself. Let's stop guessing and start understanding. Tharn didn't respond for a long moment. Then, I'll transmit landing coordinates. On Batar Prime, Zealer snarled as a courier handed him the latest briefing. Imperial commander boarding unregistered ship against protocol. He crushed the data tablet in his gnarled fist. Enough diplomacy. To his aide, he growled, send word to the Ninth Armada. Wipe that ship from the stars before it poisons our galaxy. Inside the Sparrowhawk, as Tharn's shuttle prepared to dock, Elena paced the entry bay. She'd studied 1,000 theoretical contact scenarios, but never one this charged, this fragile. The Empire was rattled. But Tharn had stepped across the line first. We've made contact, she said aloud. We've made history. Behind her, Sparrowhawk's AI spoke softly. Captain, multiple hyperspace signatures detected. How many? 112. All Dreadnought class. Elena froze. The Empire has called for extermination. Humanity reborn. Commander Viral Tharn stood on the observation deck of the Sparrowhawk, his boots silent on the alloyed floor, eyes wide as the human vessel revealed itself piece by piece. The corridors weren't just functional. They were beautiful, lined with kinetic murals, echoing with soft music and faint atmospheric scents. Everything was designed for comfort, reflection, and peace. Captain Elena Drake walked beside him, expression calm but alert. Not what you expected? Tharn shook his head. Your technology, this design, it's not military. It's cultural. A sanctuary. She nodded. It's an ark, actually. Humanity's last hope. At least, that's what we thought when we launched. When? 400 years ago, subjective time. Longer, if you count relativistic drift. Earth was dying. Climate collapse, orbital instability, nuclear brushfire wars, you name it. We left, thinking we were the last. Looks like we were wrong. You're our descendants' neighbors. Tharn studied her. You knew the Empire existed? No. Your part of the galaxy went dark a long time ago. We assumed it was uninhabited. He looked out at the stars beyond the viewport. We thought you were extinct. You're a ghost in our archives. A cautionary tale. Elena smiled. Then I guess you're speaking to the dead. A console beeped. Alert. Hostile fleet detected. Incoming. 17 minutes and 8 seconds to engagement. Tharn paled. That's Ninth Armada protocol. Full extermination strike. Elena turned to him, voice low. You told me you weren't authorized to speak. I'm guessing you're even less authorized to prevent a war. He met her gaze. Correct. Then we'll both be criminals if we stop it. In the command chamber aboard the Imperial dreadnought Juris Ultima, Archon Zealer's eyes gleamed as the countdown ticked lower. The target ship remained passive. No evasive action. No resistance. Maintain formation, he ordered. On my mark, Initiate full burn. We eliminate the infection before it spreads. A junior officer hesitated. Sir, Commander Tharn is aboard the vessel. Zealer sneered. Then he dies as a traitor. Tharn stood with Elena in the Sparrowhawk's central core, its heart, both technologically and symbolically. A chamber of AI mirrors and quantum fields, softly lit and humming with power. The AI's voice surrounded them now. Captain, interception in 13 minutes. Recommend defensive posture. Elena looked to Tharn. We won't survive a direct fight, but I might have a way to stop this. Tharn raised an eyebrow. You might. She moved to a crystalline panel. Sparrowhawk carries more than weapons. We carry history. Records, simulations, minds, including those of our greatest thinkers. Some of them volunteered to be encoded in partial consciousness. Tharn's brow furrowed. Digital ghosts? Voices from the past, whispering solutions for the present. Initiating archive consciousness interface. The chamber dimmed. A hologram flickered into being. An older man, sharp-eyed, calm. Designation, Dr. Aiden Voss. Anthropologist. Uploaded 2139 CE. How may I help? Elena nodded. Show the Imperial fleet what we are. All of us. Not in words, but in experience. Dr. Voss tilted his head. You want to share the archive? Tharn stepped forward. What archive? Elena glanced at him. Everything that makes us human. Our losses, our learning. Our pain, our peace. Interface established. Preparing empathic broadcast. On the bridge of the Juris Ultima, screens distorted. A strange signal cut through their fire control systems. Harmless, but inescapable. Images flooded every display. Visions of Earth, of humanity's rise and fall. Cities crumbling beneath oceans. Children smiling beside robotic caretakers. The silent last days of Mars. Then, images of ships like Sparrowhawk, leaving a dying world behind. On missions of desperate hope. Zealer hissed. Kill it. Burn it out. But the technicians froze. Their fingers hovered above the controls. A quiet voice echoed through the bridge's speakers, translated from human speech. We're not your enemies. We're your ancestors. Elena stood still, eyes closed, as the broadcast looped across the fleet. Did it work? She whispered. Tharn stared at the readouts. They've stopped. No weapons charge. Formation holding, and now withdrawing. They're retreating. He exhaled in awe. You didn't fight them. You moved them. 3 hours later, the fleet was gone. No shots fired. No lives lost. Tharn stood at the airlock, preparing to depart. You know, you've changed everything. Elena nodded. So have you. Zealer will call me a traitor. You saved a species. He paused. What happens now? Elena looked out at the stars. Now, we send a message to Earth. We're not alone anymore. And maybe we never were. Tharn gave a short nod, then stepped into the airlock. Behind him, the doors closed. Ahead of both of them, history had begun again.